I'm Jamie Lee McIntyre, the registered dietitian at Grade A Shoprite, and I'm getting a lot of questions from customers on tips that they can use while celebrating Thanksgiving this coming Thursday, but also sticking to their healthy intentions. First, you might want to consider plating it right, using half of your plate for some nice vegetable options, whether it's the sweet potatoes, the green bean casserole, and a little bit of salad or steamed Brussels sprouts, and then use 1/4 of the plate for your starch, whether it's a dinner roll, some corn, or that stuffing and mashed potatoes. And then the other 1/4 of the plate will be for your protein, which of course this time of year is the turkey. You can even save a few more calories by removing the skin. Another way to save some calories is rethinking your gravy. Instead of using turkey drippings, you can use a little bit of cornstarch to thicken that instead. And when you go to pour it on top of your plate, instead of using the traditional pour or ladle to apply it, use just a small tablespoon or two, so you get the flavor without too many added calories. You might also want to skip the things that might be around frequently throughout the year and just go for the traditional dishes that you only get to enjoy this one day a year. So maybe perhaps you'll skip the dinner rolls or the lasagna and pasta that we know comes around a few times a year at birthday parties and Sunday dinners, and instead go for the stuffing, the mashed potatoes, or that favorite casserole recipe that your grandma makes. And last but not least, it might be a good idea to offer to bring something that you feel comfortable eating. I'd like to share with you a recipe that I consider to be clean eating and rather healthy this time of year. Pumpkin oatmeal no-bake cookies. They're very easy to prepare, and I got this recipe from chocolatecoveredkatie.com. So you're going to have 2 bowls, one for dry ingredients and one for wet ingredients. So first I'm going to take my major wet ingredients, which is the pumpkin, of course. Now when you pick your canned pumpkin, make sure it's just pure pumpkin puree. What you're avoiding is the pumpkin pie filling, which will have additive sugars, preservatives perhaps, and maybe some other ingredients. So this is just 100% pumpkin puree. And so we have 1/3 cup of pumpkin. I'm going to go ahead and add about 2 to 2.5 tablespoons of milk. And then you can use a vegetable oil, a canola oil. I'm using an almond oil just for a little bit different flavor. And this is going to be about 1 tablespoon. Once I have that, I'm going to mix them really good. Now that my wet ingredients are all mixed, I'm going to go ahead and in a separate bowl put together my dry ingredients, starting with 3/4 cup of quick oats. And I'm going to do 1/2 cup of oat flour. There goes my oat flour. Oat flour also is a good source of fiber and protein as well as the oats. Then I'm going to do just a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 cup of sugar. I'm using sugar in the raw. And a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. I'm going to put a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. And that's going to be it for the dry. And I'm going to mix these up nice and good, so they're all blended throughout. And before I mix the two, I'm just going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. So once they're both mixed very well, I'm going to add them together and stir to combine them. And then once it gets firm, they're ready to be formed into small little balls. And if it looks a little too wet, you can add a little bit more oat flour. And then form into small little balls. Firm these up in the refrigerator for 20 minutes to a 1/2 hour before serving. You can even try and freeze them a little bit. Put in a few toothpicks for easy serving. And even sprinkle a little bit more cinnamon. And for a little extra sweetness for the holiday, punch in a few mini chocolate chips and you're all set. So try some of these tips and this recipe at home on your Thanksgiving day and have a happy and healthy holiday with your family.